Okay, so welcome everyone. We're going to begin now. So good to see you guys with me today in class. So we're going to be continue practicing speaking four. Okay, so we're going to do something similar to last time that we were, listening to the first part together and analyzing what was something that we can get from, you know, uh, what they're looking for to have in the answering part, right, and the responses. So we're gonna listen to this conversation, and then we're gonna read the passage and then listen to the conversation. One second. Okay, so this is the reading part. Okay, you guys will have 45 seconds for this part. Okay, I hope you guys were able to read that passage. Okay, now we're gonna listen to this.
Now listen to two students discussing the announcement.
So did you hear that the university is cutting its transportation budget and ending all bus service?
I did hear that. But it's no big deal, right? I mean, the university is also compensating all students with $50 vouchers for public transportation. The vouchers can be used on, the subway and public buses. So, it sounds like there won't be a big problem.
Are you kidding me? This is going to be horribly inconvenient. I mean, first of all, there's no public transportation to the DeWolf Science Center. It's far away from any subway and bus station, and getting there will require a 20-minute walk through some of the worst neighborhoods in the city.
I guess that will be a problem for some people. But try to look at it this way. There's too much division in this country between university students and the people who live in the cities around them. Won't this encourage a spirit of togetherness, like when we're all using the same public transportation?
But actually, I think that this policy, that it won't help create much new interaction between students and city dwellers at all.
Why not?
Well, because $50 is not very much money. I mean, it'll probably only cover about a month's worth of subway or bus passes. And, most students won't be able to afford to take public transportation. So with students forced to walk everywhere, I just don't understand where all of this great new interaction is going to be happening.
The female student expresses her opinion about why she disagrees with the university's new policy. State her opinion and explain the reasons she gives for holding that opinion.
Okay, I apologize for that. Somewhere wrong with the page. But that lecture was, something from similar to more common ground, right? Something more that we can relate to. So, what were you guys think? What were you guys thinking about that? What would be your response based on that listening? What you guys do to what was your guys' opinion of the transportation? Would it be fair for the $50 to be given instead of that transportation? Any comment?
Well, I don't know. I think that if I'm not a science student, I haven't have to walk 20 minutes to the science lab, I think that this is fair.
Okay. Right. Well, 30 minutes away where we're here in Mexico, we're used to that. If we need any transportation, we use the public one. We don't. But let's say maybe, I don't know if you guys have ever worked at somewhere wherever they provide transportation. It helps a lot. Here, and we're in my area where I live at, it's Cancun, and hotels, people who work for hotels, they receive that help, you know, and it helps them because it's always there, and they don't have to struggle to look for the transportation, or if they miss it, they have another bus, or if it won't cost as much, you know. Anyone else? What do you guys think? Any other comment? Maybe your area. What do they do? What do they provide?
I think it really depends on the area and also the person, if he or she can afford it. Um, uh, also depends on the city where you're living and the university, the commute you have to do every day.
Hmm?
So it
All right,
really
thank you.
varies
Yeah,
from person to person.
yeah, that's true. All right, thank you for that. All right, now let's listen to what mentioned from both. Okay, listen to his answer and what we can learn from it.
Before you hear the conversation, you should already know what you might hear. You should have some ideas about what problems the student will have with the university's decision. That's because in the text, you have some clues. The text gives you some details about their decision, and the student will talk about those details. So it's possible, for instance, that the student will talk about the $50 passes. Maybe that's not enough money. Maybe once every semester is not enough times. It's also possible that the student might talk about all public subways and buses. Maybe there should also be some other type of transport, maybe trams or trains that aren't included in this $50 pass. Or maybe the subways and buses aren't enough for some other reason. And this is the most noticeable one. The university thinks that students are going to join in the local community. Immerse means go in completely. For example, if you're immersed in water, you are underwater. So this means that students will really completely, totally join the local community. They will talk with people from that area, from the local area. So this one, you can imagine the student will probably disagree with this. She'll say, no, students won't interact with the local community. And then she'll give some reasons why. So your job is to listen for those details and why the student disagrees with them. So from the text, I have a bit of notes that $50 per semester, it's all subways and buses, and students will join in the community. And in the listening, I just made note of the most important parts which relate to that. And during those 30 seconds that you have to prepare, you can make connections. The science center is too far from the bus stop, and students have to walk through a bad area. Well, this connects to the subways and buses. That is, there are not enough subways and buses because the bus does not go to the science center. They have to go to a bus stop that's far away. Next, the little money and little interaction. Well, this really connects to both of these points, but more specifically and more importantly, it connects to the second point, that students will not interact with the community. Students will not join the community because it's not enough money. So you might take a couple of notes here as to what you're going to say, but really the arrows, the connections, and just thinking about it before you speak could be enough for you. If you do take notes, you might just say something along the lines of, well, not enough buses, and the science center, and besides that, not join the community because of money. Okay, so that's not join, and I just have short words here for community because of money. Remember, you want to write quickly. Okay, so let's hear my sample answer. Well, again, we have 60 seconds, that's 1 minute. And I'm going to speak about those two main points that will take most of my time. The woman thinks that the university's plan to get rid of the buses and instead offer students a $50 voucher is a bit flawed, I guess, because it's not enough money, for one. The $50 will not last for a full semester, so students will have to walk, which means that they actually won't be able to interact with the community like the university hopes. So instead of actually joining in and talking with people, they will be walking everywhere. And besides that, the student also says that one of the most important buildings on campus, the science center, is inaccessible by bus. That is, the student has to stop far away from the science center and then walk there through a really bad part of town. So giving the students vouchers is not the same as giving them a bus service directly to the science center. It's more dangerous and it's inconvenient. Okay, so there again, we talked about the most important details. Why the student thinks that it's not enough money and what effect that has, that the students will not join the community, and the science center being too far away.
Okay, so now with that in mind, what would be your response? Now that we have had thought of it and listened to it, to one, prepare your answer, and I'll mark here the time for us to have enough time. Okay, I'll mark a minute for you guys to prepare your answer. Okay, and then we'll go one by one individually. All right. Okay. So I'll ask Andres, what will be your response for that?
Okay. Um,
All right, whenever you're ready, you let me know. I'll just start.
oh, yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I think it's unfair because the science center is too far away from the nearest bus stop, and people have to walk too much every day to get there. Then we have the $55 that you have to receive each semester, but I think is enough isn't enough money to take buses and subway to go to the university one semester, because we have to remember that one semester is 6 months. So I think is enough isn't enough money to to go every day to the university.
All right, very good. Made it realistic, to extend it into the future as well. As being realistic to how much it takes. All right, very good. Thank you. Guillermo.
Okay, I'm here.
All right, your response whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm ready. Yeah. Well, I think that this change of the politics of the transportation for the university transportation is not fair for the students because for two main reasons. The first one, the public transportation is not going to arrive to all the areas in the university. For example, this science labs is 20-minute walk to the nearest bus station. And for the second reason, the students may not immerse in the local community because the $50 pass for public transportation isn't going to allow it to immerse in different activities to the community, like pubs or other cultural activities.
Okay, very good. All right, I see that you timed yourself well as well. You stopped before the timer, and then you know, uh, organized, your answer, you know, really well. So thank you for that. Very good. All right, so Valeria.
Yes, the announcement states that the university will no longer provide transportation, specifically buses. And the woman who disagrees has two main reasons for this. Firstly, she says that public transportation doesn't reach all the communities and areas. And she talks about the science center, that not in a lot of buses reach that particular area. And secondly, she also says that $50 are not enough money for some people, and this way people are not really engaging um, with the community.
Yeah, very good. Great timing, and the base where you got the information from, what you were mentioning is about the listening part. So that's good. Okay. Andrea, are you there? Andrea? All right. Or who's iPhone? Who's the
Hello,
name
teacher.
iPhone?
It's Pablo here.
Oh, okay, Pablo. All right.
Uh, Sorry, teacher. I haven't listened too much the first part. I was in the streets, but
All right.
a little bit that I understand about all my partners or my colleagues talk.
Mhm.
I could say that there in this university, particularly in this university, the problem is the low budget that the university gives to the students. $50 doesn't is not enough money for them, for help to them uh, in the public buses or transportation. And these people or these students needs more money, and also the center of investigation like libraries and other things are very far away from the bus stops. So students, mm, yeah, that kind.
Okay. All right. Or hopefully you're able to listen to the next one. But yes, you had a good response as well based on what you heard. And I would say that all your responses were pretty similar, of course, because of the information that's provided to us, right? But the difference is whenever how you organize it and what you choose to emphasize on. So I know we all can say what we think. It's free. Uh, the listening part provides you information, and you get to choose whatever it is. There's no real specific form. It's just as long as you understand the reading and the listening, and then you can compare and answer the question. So okay. So let's do one here individually. All right. The next one that's coming. The one that's coming up here next on this exercise. All right. Okay, now read this passage. Okay, 45 seconds to read this passage. I'll lower it down once it's all right. Timer is up.
Now listen to two students discussing the announcement.
I think it's totally unfair that the Buonocore Scholarship is only being offered to students in the Romance Languages department. Like, it's an amazing opportunity, and it's so sad to see it monopolized in this way.
Is it really such a bad thing to limit the scholarship to one department, though? I mean, the fewer students compete for the prize, the easier it'll be for students like us to win it. After all, there are only 7 other students in the whole Romance Languages department besides us.
That doesn't change the fact that it's wrong for the scholarship to be limited to our single department. It's a matter of principle. First of all, there are students in other departments, like history and classics and Renaissance studies, all of whom would definitely benefit from a year in Italy. Why shouldn't they get a chance to submit their work to the committee?
But if they also submitted their essays, it would be harder for us to get the prize.
Look, just because something benefits me personally doesn't make me think that it's right. I mean, I have a lot of friends in history and classics and Renaissance studies, and I totally agree with them that it's wrong for them to be ineligible to compete for the scholarship. After all, Romance Languages is a very small department, and it seems abusive for us to keep this resource all to ourselves.
I guess I see where you're coming from.
Also, I think that it takes something away from the honor of winning the scholarship if the competition isn't very strong. I'd rather know that I earned the opportunity to study in Rome by competing against the very best students, instead of thinking that I was only honored because other talented people were unnecessarily excluded from the process.
Okay, you have a minute to prepare your response. Okay, so let's listen to this beginning of his preparing his answer, and then we'll go individually. Okay.
Before you hear the conversation, in the text, there are some details that you can use to anticipate, to expect what you will hear in the conversation. Because, of course, in this type of question, in question number 3, you will always hear a student who agrees or almost always disagrees with something in a text like this one, and then explains why they have that opinion. So here, you can look for what the student might disagree with. And there's one specific sentence that is definitely possible to disagree with. This final sentence here. Students in departments other than the Romance languages are ineligible for this opportunity. Ineligible means they can't do it. They are not allowed. So that means that only some students can do this. You can see that's possibly negative. It's something that somebody might not be happy about because students in other departments maybe want that opportunity, but they can't have it. So you can expect in the conversation you will hear more about this. You could also hear about some other details. Maybe you would hear about the detailed plan, or maybe you would hear about the essay. These are things that the student could possibly dislike, so you want to listen for those too. But this one is especially notable. Okay, and when we actually hear the conversation, it turns out that the student mostly just disagrees with this part. She explains a couple of different reasons why she disagrees with that, though. Now, here are my notes. Your notes will look different, but the Bueno Course Scholarship, I wanted to write down here because that text, after I hear the conversation, is gone. And this is not an easy word to remember. So I wanted to remember it, so I just copied it from the original text. You should do that. If there is something in the text that you want to remember, put it in your notes because it will disappear. So the Bueno Course Scholarship, and then I have some details as to what that is. If you need an essay and a plan and you study in Rome and it's only one department, it's only the Romance language department. Notice these abbreviations, these short forms, definitely use abbreviations. Make those notes fast. And when I listened, I was listening for details of problems that the student had with the university's plan. And here are the problems I noted: that other students can't do it, and that's not fair. And I made note of some specific other students so that I can talk about those specific other students. And the other part, that she wants to compete with everybody. She wants to submit an essay and a plan and be considered against many people, because if she is the one who gets the scholarship from many people, that's very that is preferable, that is more comfortable for her. It's more of an exciting win than if she is just winning against, say, 3 people, smaller group. So based on those notes and those ideas, I'm going to have first 30 seconds to prepare. I don't really need this 30 seconds because I've already planned this, but for you on your test day, you would want to spend this time making links and structuring what you will say. You could make connections from the text to the listening, or even better, think about the structure of what you'll say. So you can say, talk about the Bueno Course Scholarship for a minute, not for a full minute, for just 15 seconds, and then talk about why the student disagrees with it for the next 45 seconds and explain why she disagrees with it. And that's really just the same as what's up here: other students and competition. And maybe that is a little bit easier to read and remember when you're actually speaking than trying to look at this long piece of text here that's your full notes. Okay, so here we go. We have 60 seconds. I will have 60 seconds to answer, and you're going to hear that structure of introducing the idea and then talking about the two.
Okay, so now, all right. So your response here, share with the class individually. Okay. I'll begin with Andres whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready. Um, I think it is very unfair by the university because they are they aren't giving the same opportunity to all the students from the different departments. So they should make a healthy competition for everyone without limitation for the scholarship. Um, the objective, the goal of receiving a scholarship is to give it to the most prepared students, not just for only one from one department.
All right, well spoken. All right, very good. Thank you for sharing. Valeria?
Okay. So the announcement states that the university will provide students from Romance languages department a new scholarship to study in Rome for a year. And the woman opposes the notice for two reasons. First of all, she says it's a matter of principle, and she would actually like people from other departments, such as history, classics, or Renaissance, to be able to compete for the same scholarship. Moreover, she says that the Romance languages department is a small department, and she is more comfortable with the idea of competing with a larger group of people rather than a smaller group of people. And secondly, she also points out that competition isn't very strong if it's only within her own department.
Okay, very good. So close enough, right, to this to maybe second. So really well organized and two good points, shared. So thank you for sharing. Very good. Okay, and Guillermo,
Yes, I'm here.
right? Yes, whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready. This set of materials talk about the opportunity to win a scholarship in Rome for a year. In the audio, the girls state that this is not fair for the following reasons. First one is not fair because it's a matter of principles. Don't count with all the students like other department like history, and only compete with 6 other people. This is abusive. And the second reason is because she wants to compete with the best of the best and win with all the honor and not excluding other participants of the process.
Okay, very good. Good timing. Once again, okay, and good points as well. Good job, guys. Good organization on your response. So, it was Alejandro, right, on the iPhone?
It's no, it's Pablo.
Pablo.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, according to the paragraph, there is a scholarship for study 1 year in Italy, and the participants has to write an essay. According to the girl, that is unfair because the the principal reason for this internship is to be in the department of romance department, and that's not fair because other majors like literature, maybe Renaissance and art wants to participate, but they cannot because the principle or the rules. So she wants to participate with the best of the bestest of the careers, and that would be very fair for her if she wins a scholarship.
Okay. All right. Thank you all for sharing. Thank you, Pablo. All right. Now let's listen to how he prepared his response.
Problems that the student has with the university's plan. The university is planning to give a new scholarship to students. It's a very important scholarship called the Bueno Core Scholarship, which will allow students to study in Rome if they submit an essay and a plan and are approved to study there. But the student is unhappy with this decision because of some of the details about how this scholarship is going to be given. For one, it's only going to be given to students in the Romance language department. And that means that her friends won't be eligible, and she thinks that her friends in other departments, like, say, for example, in the history department, should have that opportunity too. She also thinks that because it's so exclusive, it's not really very satisfying to win that scholarship, because she wants to compete with everybody and know that she earned it, not that she is just in some exclusive group. All right. So I spent a little bit long on the first part, introducing the scholarship. Yours should probably be a little bit shorter, because if you want to have enough time to describe both of the students' problems with the plan, then you'll probably want a full 40 seconds or 45 seconds to do that. But still, follow that structure, use that vocabulary for opinions, and you are good to go. Try it yourself.
Okay, so right, it was really good also as well. So here on the notes, how many of you guys are doing notes so far? How are your notes doing? Reading and listening. Does it look something similar like this, or how are you guys doing it? What are you guys grabbing the information?
I think similar.
Similar, okay, good. All right, so we can benefit from it. It helps looking back to the notes, analyzing it. Do you guys think there's enough time? The 30 seconds that it's giving to prepare the answer. Think there's enough time, or you guys think that with practice you'll continue getting better at grabbing those words, those ideas, put together, and then creating a response? Are you guys already thinking of your response? When you're listening to the listening part, and or once you're reading, you're already grabbing those ideas, right? So as long as you guys grab, and compare and get to p- create that idea in your mind, doesn't have to be really written, because there's not a lot of time giving to write it down. Maybe just like this, like everything he said, but just little details that you can keep in mind, you know, and know that you're providing information from the reading and the listening part. You'll be good to go. So it's just a minute, but you guys have done so good so far. So good job, and continue practicing, in your individual time. So that's all for today. I'll just post the question here, and I hope you guys have an excellent day, and I'll see you in the next class giving.
Thank you. Bye,
All right,
teacher.
all right, thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you,
Bye.
teacher.
All right.